Rousey and Adrian from the Two Beards crew coming at you for another week of Welcome to Wrexham Reviews. Let's go. G'day, Beards, Sheilas, fuckheads, and just all round legends. I'm your host, Rousey, and that is Adrian. Today, we are going to be reviewing episode 6, Ballers, from Welcome to Wrexham. And let me just start by saying this, which is probably going to spoil the rest of this episode, but wow.
Yep. Wow, indeed, my friend. That
Wow.
was
Insert
so good.
insert the wow meme in somewhere in here because
Wow.
wow.
Like Owen Wilson, wow.
Yeah.
But honestly,
Oh.
man, I don't think you could have put it any better because I I mentioned how much I love the Millie episode. This episode gets very close to topping it, and it all starts with the Wrexham women. And isn't it good,
Mm.
man? Isn't it good?
Yeah, it's so good. So the episode obviously this is all about the women. The men didn't barely get a mention. The owners were a little bit there as well, but this was all about the women and the absolute miracle they pulled off last year or last season. And so the episode obviously opened. You had Rosie Hughes. So you sort of it establishes, what she does. That she takes you from a tour around the prison. You sort of get a
Not a
look
prisoner, by
into.
the way. She's a prison warden.
Yeah, she's a prison guard. She's a screw. That's what I don't know. Is that a worldwide thing or is that more of an Australian thing to call prison guards screws?
I'll be honest, mate. I've never heard that one in my life, but I've never been to prison, so I don't know.
Oh shit. Okay. This shows what I'm okay. All right. Well, let's just not
Good
go
stuff.
there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But look, honestly, can I ask you, like, when we saw Rosie, doing her day job, that's right, day job, guys. Like we've seen the glitz and the glamour of being a footballer, at Wrexham. And yeah, look, they did undersell it in that first season. Oh, the facilities aren't here, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, man, the women have had it so much harder, and it really showed a really good light on that perspective, which is some of them were dishies. That was Lily. She was one of the dishwashers at one of the
Mm.
restaurants. We've got obviously Rosie, and then you've got people studying. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And it's
Yeah,
all
like they
because they
really
love the game.
I know we've mentioned it plenty of times before on our podcast. You want to go back and view our podcast, go for your life. But like we've mentioned it before that these women they have day jobs. They
Yeah.
don't get a wage like the men do, and they are just absolutely outstanding. And so yeah, so obviously started with Rosie Hughes, giving us an insight into her mindset and her day job, giving us a tour around the prison. Um, and then obviously it went on to Lily, which obviously showed her cleaning dishes. Um, and because I think she was only 17 at the time or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and yeah, so that was really like it just it this episode got you connected to the women in a way that I think just watching them doesn't. And that's what I really enjoyed about this episode. Um,
Agreed.
yeah, just the sheer guts and determination, and Gemma Owen. Obviously, shout out Gemma Owen. She had a really big part to play last season, and she was given a lot of airtime, which is well deserved.
Well deserved.
Um,
Good to see Gaz as well. Gaz has
yes.
had his music on our pod as well as being, one of the best midfielders that Wrexham's ever had. But that's just a little humble brag there.
What
But
better than Elliot Lee?
yeah, mate.
I don't
Yep.
know. That's a big call.
It's not just a big call, it's fact.
Oh, okay.
It's like legendary status. Like,
uh,
anyways, we'll get into that in another pod. But I think what you said is right, which is it shone a light on all the different characters in terms of the different team members, the different
mm,
whether it's someone who's Lily, who's younger, who's just kind of football has been her entire life. We saw obviously the side of especially with Lily Jones, like just seeing, what she's gone through. She went to the Everton Academy and she was, thriving there. And then
Mm.
all of a sudden she lost her dad. And
Oh, oh,
shit, it hit me.
shit.
It hit me. Yeah, it hit me, man.
Mm,
And for those of us, and first of all, I just want to say, if you need help, please reach out to your local suicide hotline. Honestly, there's no shame in reaching out. Those people are professionals. Definitely
mm.
do that, as well as reach out to family and friends if you're struggling. Please
Yeah.
do. But back on the topic of it, obviously, her father lost. Gave his life. Yeah, took his life, and I'm getting a bit emotional thinking about it because it just seeing the way it shaped Lily. What a brave girl. Not just being a brave woman
Mm,
who's not just come home for Wrexham to be a part of it, but because there's something else that means a little bit more to her now. And she
mm.
could have stayed at Everton. She could be on a wage. She could be in the other leagues. She is that good, but she stays because of Wrexham, and that just shows why they made this episode.
Yeah, I think it really established the women as a very cohesive unit. I loved the fact that they showed them playing on these grounds that there were just mud everywhere and like it all uneven. It wasn't perfectly manicured like the Stoke Kairas. Um, it, I love the fact that they show that because these women they do it tough in every aspect, not
Yeah.
just not just having to work and play, but they're playing on substandard surfaces, so they're probably prone to injury. They've got
Oh,
to be
for
careful
sure.
with that. You know, it just really, really nailed that point of view home that these girls that no matter where they're playing, they just give it their all. Now, what sort of confused me a little bit with the episode. So they went through the whole season to them becoming league champions, but
For
they
the
didn't
North League, yeah.
show the game. Well, they showed a snippet of the game at the Kairos,
Yep.
right? But they didn't feature it. I have a feeling it's
Yeah.
probably coming up on another episode, and as well as what their when they gained promotion as well. I think that'll come up on another episode because they probably didn't because those are like very very big moments. And that game at the Kairos was massive, the
Massive.
biggest.
Me and Rousey were watching it
Oh,
in Australia because there
yeah,
was a live feed that you could watch. It was honestly one of the most incredible things. And I know it's a spoiler for some who, oh, don't tell me what happened. But guys, this is something that
that
it's not a
game
movie
broke
where
records.
that broke records, man. Like
Mm.
that was in the news. If you hadn't seen it, then you were living under a rock. But it was earth shattering. I was disappointed not to see it. I was hoping the crescendo was we see them win the North League, and the way that it
Mm.
works for those who haven't seen the episode or don't or just want to relay, you have to win the North League. And that doesn't just give you promotion. So you win the North League, and then whoever won the South League plays each other to then get promotion into the
Yeah,
the Adran Premier League, which is the Welsh Premier Division of women's football. I was disappointed, and I'm with you, man. I don't know why it wasn't put in, but I'm also thinking the last thing they want to do is be shown to only have one episode of the girls. Do you know what I mean? Imagine they just did one episode of the women's, and yes, it might have been perfect. It would have been this tied up in a bow, but if they had done that, they probably would have copped a lot of criticism that they went,
mm.
okay, back to the men for the next 16 episodes. So I kind of appreciated it. And I really, really hope that women's game at the Kairos is a main feature and it's a whole
It
episode
has to
and
be. It has
has
to
to
be
be
because it was such a big moment.
huge.
Um, and what they achieved was just outstanding. So I think we'll probably see that on another episode, but it really just I guess wrapped up the season in the Adran North.
Yep.
It sort of wrapped that up nicely. We got to obviously see a lot of the characters. It was a lot focused around Lily and around Rosie more so than and Gemma as well. Um, I probably might have liked to have seen a little bit more of the others.
Yeah,
Um, give us an idea on who they are and what they do. But I mean, all in all, a fantastic episode. One that
fantastic.
left me when I finished watching this episode, I was just like, wow, like just fucking wow. And so we come to Rousey's rating for this episode. It's a 10 out of 10, and it's going to be a rock hard Elliot Lee. Give it the Elliot Lee. Yeah,
Wow.
this episode gets the Elliot
Woo.
Lee.
You know what? I love that because that is huge. For those who haven't watched the previous episodes, we call a something an Elliot Lee because it adds a little bit of extra something. I'm sure Rousey can put insert picture here of what we're referencing to. He pitched a tent during a game. It was just a bit weird. If you don't know what that means, Google it. If you're too young to know what that means, ask your parents. But I think the biggest one, the biggest one for me is why on earth it wasn't like wrapped up in a bow and it felt like we were just kind of left wanting more. And it wasn't a double episode week. It was obviously a feature length episode. It was 40 minutes, but it wasn't like something you wanted more. And I think that's what they were trying to get. And for me, yes, I was disappointed they didn't put the episode. As long as that is fulfilled, I will come back to this rating and give it the 10. But for now, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10, which is still solid, still very solid. I just think that, like you said, could have touched on a couple of the other players, and we could have maybe, not really rushed to the finish line, which I felt like we did towards the end. And that's not a negative thing. It was exhilarating.
That's
I
just
just
us with our
wanted more.
critics hats on. Like
Yeah.
we're trying to be unbiased critics, even though we've Wrexham till we die. We bleed
Yep.
Wrexham, but I get it. I get it. And we gotta have our critics hats on, but I just can't
Yeah,
like
man.
this
Nah,
has got to
10
have
out
the
of
Elliot
10.
Lee
Well
for
done.
me. It's got to have the
Well
Elliot
done.
Lee. So that's the standard of episode we need to get that type of rating. So
100%.
um well that's us for another week, guys. If you like us, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to join our Fuckheads program, links will be in the description. But and we'd love to have you. Otherwise, just continue watching our stuff. We put it out every week, a couple times a week. So we will see you guys next week on the pod. See you guys.
Bye bye.